Our camera crew has been down at Punt Road Oval since the early hours of this morning, and that's when players like Trent Cotchin and Jack Rewald and the like started arriving at the club. Obviously, Damien Hardwick to address the playing group this morning because, as you say, the way that it broke, it caught so many, including some of the players unawares.
Yeah, well, it did, Nat. I mean, the two recruits to which I referred to earlier, Tim Taranto and Jacob Hopper, came to the club thinking that finals were the end game for this year. And look, I still felt until they lost last week, they were still a chance in that space, and they might still be. They've got 3 wins to their name. It's nowhere near what they wanted, but their best is still going to trouble some teams, and how that looks and who's going to take over as interim coach capacity. Is it this Saturday, his last game? We're about to find out as we can see Brendan Gale and Damien Hardwick now gathering behind the multitude and the many microphones that are there in front of them.
All right, let's cross to Punt Road Oval now for Damien Hardwick's press conference. We'll be back straight after this with all the analysis, so stay with us.
Hey, thanks for coming, everyone. We'll run this one way. You get John speak first, and then we'll hand over to Damien, and then we'll take questions.
Thanks, Vicky. Yeah, good morning, everyone, and thanks for your attendance. Well, we're here this morning to announce that Damien Hardwick has resigned as the club's senior coach, effective immediately. This is a decision that Damien's wrestled with for some time. He's ultimately come to the conclusion that he no longer has the energy required to coach. The role of senior coach is incredibly demanding, and Damien has given it absolutely everything since being appointed 14 seasons ago. Our club was coming from a long way behind back in 2010 when he, along with the man alongside him here, set about the restoration of Richmond as a powerhouse club on and off the field. History was created under his watch, and for that we will be forever indebted. He finishes as the longest serving coach in the 138-year history of our club. And of course, while his 3 premierships will be the headline, he's given our club so much more. He's taught us about genuine care, connection, and the power of storytelling. He loved his players, and his players loved him. And make no mistake, his decision has come as a shock to our board, but it's clear he's given it some serious thought in recent weeks, and we need to respect the decision that he's made. It really is a measure of the man that he's made this decision in what he sees as the best interests of the club. Selflessness is one of his great qualities, and for that Damien is and always will be revered as a Richmond man. Andrew McQualter has been appointed interim senior coach and will now embark on the process to find the next senior coach at the board level. Damien.
Thanks, John. Sort of wish I wore a better jumper, to be honest. I didn't realise there's so many people here, but it's been an incredible ride and one that's it's coming to an end, but I couldn't have wished a better place to have my journey as an AFL coach, and the support I've received from not only the Richmond Football Club, full stop, but the fans and our players, obviously, that was one of the more tougher conversations that I've had to do. The way this club supported me, gave me every resource possible, gave me the best people possible. It's a testament to what I think we've created, and one of the longest, legacies that will continue to go on. The man beside me to my left obviously started a couple of days prior to me, but he's been enormous on my journey, and I can't thank you, Brendan, enough for what you've done for me and my family. To John and the board and Peggy O'Neill and Gary March before, but the support, when you could have quite easily at any stage probably tipped me out in 2016, the journey that we've responded to there was, I can't ever thank you enough. To my playing group, God, it was tough before, it's tougher now. I spoke to you before about how much I loved being your coach and how proud I am of you, and the 3 stalwarts that are here from the start, or the 4 I think it is, in Jack, Trent, Dylan and Dustin. You all mean the world to me, and I've enjoyed every aspect of being your coach, but more importantly, I'll enjoy every aspect of watching you continue to go on in your careers and whatever you choose to do. But to my family in the front row, it's been a hell of a journey. My kids have had half their life as Richmond people, and you've had the good half compared to a lot of other people, so to be happy about that. But the support I've given from mum and dad for when I was a young kid at Upwey Tacoma, then through my career, and obviously now at Richmond, your support has been unwavering, and you've always been there for a pat on the back or a kick in the bum, whatever it is. And to Danielle and the kids, I'm forever grateful of what you've given me and the support you've given me, and hold tough, is you're going all right. And Alex, thanks for the new journey that obviously your support over the last couple of months has been phenomenal. But I'd just like to thank once again the Richmond Football Club for what they've given me, the opportunity that presented itself, and it's a wonderful place. And I'd also like to thank our fans. It's a tough gig being an AFL senior coach, but the support I think I've received from the majority of people has been absolutely outstanding, and will forever go down as one of the great things that I've ever been. I've been fortunate enough to be in a lot of footy clubs, but by far the Richmond Football Club has been the love of my life. So I thank you from the bottom of my heart. To the AFL, it's an outstanding industry we're in. The game itself is in great shape. It's so even, it's so challenging, and I think that's the way we want it to be. And it just all became a little bit too much for me. It was one of those ones where I sort of made the decision that I wasn't going to be the coach of Richmond next year. I made the fatal mistake of watching The Last Dance, I think, on Fox it was at some stage, and thought way it may have been. But once I decided that part of the equation started to slip away, then I started to question myself and about what it was like to coach Richmond. And as soon as I started asking the question more, I started to understand what the answer was going to be. So the best thing for myself was to step aside. If I couldn't give 100%, there was no way I was going to coach this footy club. It gives the club the greatest opportunity to find the next coach, and I wish Andrew and the assistants all the very best. But if I couldn't give this playing group, this club, these people beside me the very best of Damien Hardwick, I wasn't prepared to see it out. So it was a tough decision, but one I was entirely grateful. So from the bottom of my heart, boys, I wish you all the very best. I'm going to miss you. As always, I love you to death, and all the people that have supported me and been a part of my journey. I thank you, I applaud you, and I wish you all the very best for future endeavours. And that'll do me. See you tomorrow. Yeah, and I think it's sort of not me to give the send-off sort of thing. I've had an incredible journey, and I just think it's time to step away. And I'm actually looking forward to sitting down watching the game with my kids, and just to sit there and see what it's like, really. But I just thought once I'd committed to stepping aside, it would be not the right thing to do for me. I couldn't quite possibly give as much as I'd like to, and with the prep. And it's a really important game for our footy club. I still firmly believe that this club is placed to challenge, and many people look at that. But I know the list here, and I know the people that are here, and it's much bigger than one man, as we know. And what we've got is a really, really capable playing list that's capable of doing some great things. We've had a bit of luck along the way, a couple of bounces of the ball here, a couple of injuries here that didn't go south, but I'm still sure we'll give it a fair shake. When did you watch last? Yeah, over summer I thought, but I think it was one of those ones. As a coach, you always question yourself. It's a lonely job. It's a great job. Don't get me wrong. I'm incredibly grateful for the opportunity that I received, but it is challenging at various stages. And I think as you become more apparent and you've had more success, the losses become harder. So I sort of had a fair indication at the start of the year that I would like this to be my last year. And then when the season probably didn't turn out as much as I would have liked, I started to ask myself the question about, well, am I the right man for the job? And I kept asking myself the question more and more. And as I stated previously, you know, if you keep asking yourself the question, you know the answer. So, you know, it was, you know, I had some conversations with some really key people around me just to make sure that I was in the right frame of mind to make that decision. And it became apparent, you know, probably 2 weeks ago that the time was about right. And in all honesty, I'd rather leave too early, too late. The club means so much to me, and I want to make sure that I leave the game loving the game, not resenting the game. But also I want to make sure that I leave this place just with the best feelings. You know, it's a celebration of what we've been able to achieve, but more importantly, a celebration of the people I've been able to meet. You know, I came here seeking silverware, but the reality is I walk away thinking how much the journey was and how great the journey was. So I walk away incredibly happy about what we've achieved, but more importantly, the people I've met.
You said that you wanted to walk away from the game last year, not making it. Were you risking that? You watch what's happened to one of your friends in Park and that sort of playing the ball.
Oh, it has, but I think I've seen it play out a number of times. You know, I sort of see, you know, even our own coaching staff, what it can do to people that have lost jobs. And I didn't want it to be like that with the game first and foremost, but also this club. You know, they've given me so much, and I just felt like I couldn't give them any more. And you know, as you said, I've seen firsthand what it can do when relationships sour with regard to, you know, coaching careers ending, and I just didn't want that to be the case. These people in this club are too special for me to be that, and I want to walk away with the very best of memories, which I will.
Did you sense that, Brendan, before you had a conversation?
All right, you're actually going to answer a question, eh? Which is a great result.
Did you sense this Damien's making a position?
We're probably not at expectations playing on field. I could sense the frustration, which is not surprising. But you know, we were strongly committed to Damien through the board, through John, and to working our way through this next iteration and this next phase of growth, as we have proven we've done in the past. And you know, not surprised at the decision upon reflection, but you know, we were committed to working through it. But you know, Damien said he's the tank's empty, and
the comments in the light of the second run in hindsight, the answer and do you know if that was
Yeah, probably in the back of my mind I had a fair indication, which was always challenging sort of thing, but I did know that it was coming to an end. I thought about whether it's, you know, after the Geelong game, but you know, it's funny, the Dreamtime game is such a special game. I thought it was a significant moment that I'd really like to go out, and you know, I know Toby Nankervis, our other captain with Dylan, was going to play, and it was just important to me that I think I had that final piece of that puzzle, that he did play in my final game, and it's just the way it worked out. Look, obviously it would have been great if we had won the game, but the fact of the matter is we didn't. But it hasn't soured my journey anymore. It was just time. Like I said, it was time for a different voice. You know, I've pushed every button I can. I've tried to cook the sausages 1,000 different ways, and I couldn't find 1,001. So I think the players deserve a new voice that will hopefully give them that spark to hopefully lead to something that could be pretty special this year. And I know a lot of people have jumped off the Tigers, but I still maintain that, you know, if a bit of luck along the way, they're still very, very capable of doing what they need to do. No, I think I still would have been here today. You know, it was one of those last moments that you sort of do stick around. And it's funny, Tim and Blair, who had been very much my lieutenants for the thing, I think they picked it up after the game. So normally after a loss, we come back here and we have a few drinks, and I'm straight in the board, straight in the match committee room, just trying to figure out, well, what it wasn't, you know, the next course of action. And when I caught up with them, they sensed it at that night when I didn't go into that room. I didn't start penciling in what was the plan of attack for the review, and I think they probably sensed that it was time. You know, hindsight's a wonderful thing, but as I said, it was just one of those journeys. I wanted to make sure I got the very best out of it and had that last moment with the people that I love.
Why are you so optimistic about the list, and you know, some plus 30 players, but the rest of the city probably knew this would be a last year and obviously expected to see a bit of draft capital to take us through that season.
Well, to me, it's only one person as senior coach. What people have to realise is it's so much more than one man. Like, we've got an outstanding group of assistant coaches, list management committee. They make decisions based on the club overall. And whilst we did invest significant draft capital, we've brought in 2 players in Taranto and Hopper that are going to be outstanding players for this footy club for the next 6 to 7 years. So whichever coach takes over is going to be in a very, very good place. We've got a young Josh Gibcus that hasn't played a year. We've got Tom Lynch that hasn't played barely any games. We've got some young players that unfortunately are injured at the moment. But this list is in a really, really good place. You know, our list management team has done a wonderful job. Coach aside, this side is well placed to go forward.
Coaching merry-go-round announcing takes that you can link to pretty much every other job in the land. So obviously you take the rest now. But are you a career coach at all time? You see the pop up in the future at some stage?
Oh, look, the biggest thing on my plate at the moment is just to decompress and let it all go. You know, speaking to some of the players, and you know, Dustin suggested I go to Ibiza, and Bakes suggested I go to Lake Grace. So it's somewhere in between where I'll find myself. But you know, I'm just looking forward to a break. It's been an incredible journey for 13 or 14 years, but it is very, very consuming. And you know, the job of AFL coach is very, very tough. Don't get me wrong, I love it to death. But the fact of the matter is, I just need a break at the moment. I'm looking forward to that.
Damien, what does it mean to you to take Richmond to the very top? Not all football clubs are created equal. There was a premiership drought. Bringing Tiger Army with you 3 or 4 years. What does that mean? Take the club.
Yeah, it's incredible. It was, you know, it's a testament to the people, though. I sort of sit there, and as a senior coach, you get a lot of pats on the back and a lot of kicks in the backside. But as an organisation, that's what Richmond wanted to do, you know, and the men beside me, I should say, set a really hefty or a lofty goal. You know, many scoffed at us, but then to sit there and look at the great Nostradamus here and to get the result we were after was incredible, and it was a privilege to be a part of it, and I'm a very small part of it. The players play. You know, that's a great thing about it. If you haven't got the players, it is really, really hard to be the coach you want to be, and a lot of that falls to them and the list that our recruiting and list management built. So it's something that I'll cherish forever. But as I said, the silverware is a byproduct of the people that you meet and the journey that you have along our players. And you know, see guys get married, have kids, and all those sort of things has just been such a delight. And you know, I'm really fortunate to be a part of that. So that to me is probably bigger than the silverware aspect.
Disrespected by the game, the soft caps obviously falling behind completely. What do you make of that discussion, and how much of this decision is linked to that, or is it just a case of you need to?
No, listen, it's got nothing to do with my decision. Mine's just basically the fact that I've pushed every button I think possible for these guys and try and get them to play. And you know, the soft cap will always be an issue, and I can understand why, but that's probably for other people to discuss on this day. Mine's just all about, I just want to celebrate the time that I've had here and the journey that I've had, and the wonderful people and support I've had along the way. So that to me is the most important thing of today.
Damien, you speak about the stresses of the job. One person you haven't mentioned is Neil Mahon.
Yeah.
Who's obviously a huge factor of the big company. How big is it for you, and how big is it for the local place? Andrew, what happens to you on the season?
Yeah, he's been enormous, and yeah, it's no coincidence he comes to our footy club, and he's like one of those Buddha dolls. You rub his belly sort of thing, and the good luck follows you sort of thing. But he's been an incredible, you know, servant to our footy club, but footy in general. And you know, Barmy's one of those guys that is very forthright in his opinions of the game, and sometimes when you do overcomplicate it, he'll tell you. And that's a great thing about Neil. You know, I've got enormous respect for the man. I've got a great understanding of what he's given to me and our football club. The pressure he's taken off me with doing the things that I don't love to do, it's amazing. By doing that, he's helped us get better. He's a magnificent ambassador, not only for our game, but for the AFL in general, and I couldn't be more appreciative of what he's done for me or the club.
Damien, 14 years is a long time.
Yep.
What are some of your best memories?
It's funny, I speak to this about the players all the time. It's not the games, it's just the events. You know, it's like this year, you know, Camden McIntosh, the players selling his car while we're on camp. It's those sort of things that make footy clubs special. You know, we'll sit there and we'll have reunions along the way, but it won't be the grand finals we'll be speaking of or the great wins. It'll be the relationships we've forged and the stories we've got. the thing I'll miss most is walking in here every day and understanding that the first people I'm going to see are Tim Livingston or Blair Hartley or Jack Ross, Thompson Dow, Hugo Ralph-Smith on that couch having coffee in the morning. They're the things that I'm really going to miss. I'll miss the combative nature of the game, no question, but I'm really going to miss the fact that I don't get to see the very special people in my life every day.
Brendan, it's so hard to find the exit of leisure for senior coach. As Dimma mentioned, other clubs have sort of grappled with it in the past. Is there a certain elegance to this selfless decision that you guys have made out to celebrate that and also be mindful of the future of the club?
I'd like to think so, Tom. I mean, I've done a few contracts with Damien over the years, and he's always said, when I'm done, I'll tell you, irrespective of the contract. And that's how it's been realised. It's a measure of Damien that he's always put the club first. This is just an occasion, but it's also a measure of the club and I guess the strength of our shared leadership as well. And this is sad. Don't get me wrong. I love this man, and a lot of people do in this room as well. And but we'll celebrate him and we'll acknowledge his incredible contribution. But it's onward and upward. We're looking forward to writing the next chapter of this incredible story of Richmond Football Club, and we've got an incredible team on and off field, and that's a really exciting opportunity and it'll energise all of us.
I'm not going to lie, I did fill up my car and the kids' cars on that club card yesterday. So
No, you didn't, because I cut it off.
What about the short term? Whatever happens down the track coaching-wise, but in the short term, when the football landscape is moving, former coaches have gone into the media, right? There's a chance for you to sort of, whenever Danny's having in the media, there's a chance for you to that.
Yeah, better chance of seeing Santa walk down Burke Street, I reckon, than that, Tony, to be fair. I've enjoyed what I've done, and look, the media do a wonderful job and we understand the landscape they're in, and it's a tough job. Like, the fact of the matter is, it's the thing about AFL footy, we do go toe-to-toe with the media, but there's not a bad person in footy. I reckon we all have jobs to do and we understand that, and whilst I go crook every now and then and all that sort of stuff, it's nothing apart from me just showing my frustration. But I've very rarely met a bad person in AFL footy and AFL media, so... but hey, no, not yet. I'll speak to Kane, but we're, Kane and me are great mates. Like, the fact of the matter is, it's all a little bit of show, as we know, and he's been incredibly supportive of me, as of him, and we're premiership teammates, and we'll continue to be lifelong friends as well. Yeah, no, I haven't spoken to Gil. Like I said, it's been a pretty busy day yesterday with just speaking to players and just making sure I touch base with everyone. It was quite exhausting, actually, and I just had to make sure that the people closest to me and the people at this footy club knew exactly what was going through my head, and it was just important that I touch base with all the right people, and it was hard. But I'm glad I did it, and I'm glad I've done it the way I have.
How attractive is this coaching vacancy for whoever you might choose, and what will that process be?
Oh, look, this has all happened pretty quickly, John, so we'll work through that and redefine the attributes to be the Richmond coach for the next 10 years. The game's evolving. We want to find the next Damien Hardwick. We think we're a pretty attractive proposition. We're a strong club with a strong culture. We're pretty confident that we've got an environment where a coach would thrive in our football club. So because of this selfless decision, it gives us the opportunity to get ahead of that and Sorry?
What legacy do you leave?
Oh, yeah, that's a good question. I think one of the things I sort of sit back and Toby Nankervis touched off on it today about, I wanted to create an environment where the players would walk in with a smile and regardless of outcome would walk out with one. And I hope I've achieved that, and some of it was through, the ability for me to make my energy, and the players to feed off that, and some of it was from my bad jokes and that. But the reality is, I think that's the one biggest thing, that I sit there and I hope they've learned some life lessons off me. But the fact of the matter is, I reckon I've learned more life lessons off my playing group than they've learned off me. So it's been an incredible journey. And one last story probably before I go is I rang the great Jack Rewalt and I sort of said, "Oh, mate, are you available to catch up?" And of course, Jack made it all about him. He thought I was going to talk but I said, no, mate, this isn't about you for once in your life, sort of thing. So he'll be deeply embarrassed about that, but it just sums up Jack, to be fair.
Some Tigers fans will obviously be mindful to change the club. Obviously, Dimma, the legendary coach, stepped down. Well documented the AFL target. Was there general manager Stoody? Are you interested in that job? And how will Stoody manage that?
I know nothing about that, Tom. That's just media speculation. I'm committed to this next chapter of the Richmond Football Club, and which all take ownership of, and that's my focus.
So just before you go, I know you don't like talking about yourself, but how much do we underestimate how hard it is being a senior coach? Like, so we were making up people last year, just a couple of players down there.
Yeah.
Dark times they went through. How hard is it?
It is. It's incredibly hard, but it's also rewarding at the same time. But it's like a grieving period. After every loss, you go into, and I've got a lot better at managing, trust me, but before that you go into this cave where you just sit there and you're trying to get out. And me and Clarko, my great mate, used to laugh about it all the time. We used to always bring each other, you're out of that cave yet, sort of thing. And I've got a lot better at managing that, but there are times where you feel yourself going into that dark place where you don't really need to go. And you probably find a lot more about yourself when things aren't going well, if that makes sense, because when things are going upbeat and great and all that sort of stuff, but you find a lot about yourself and your football club when things aren't going well. And that's the one thing I'll say about this club. They're absolutely outstanding. The care, the love that not only John and Brendan have, but the playing group have with regards to that is incredibly important. And that's what makes footy club special. There's not a better place to be when things aren't going well than a footy club. There's so much care and love in the place that it makes it a pleasure to be a part of.
Brendan, what to see in this coach at the end of 2016 to not sack him, not off the coach? You clearly never thought about that, but just like it was a moment, obviously we don't have that.
Oh, well, he was a good coach. The evidence bore that out. Football is about a program. There's many elements to performance. There's a few things that are tweaking and changing, but fundamentally we believe we had a fine person and a very good coach who was making strong progress, and in the internal measurements we were making finals. 16 was a bit of an aberration, we felt. So I felt the board at the time, I learned a lot through that process about the importance of a strong, committed, united board, and it was about ignoring the noise, do what we have to do, get on with the job. The rest is history.
How was that period of time for you? How was that period of time in 2016?
Oh, it was challenging, but once again, organisations are defined by their darkest times, and if you've got strong people and good people, the easy decision for Brendan and Peggy and John at that stage is buy time, let's get rid of the coach. But that's what strong organisations do. They back their people, and that's the one thing this club will always stand for, is that people come first. And granted, I had some work to do, and Brendan got me help that I needed, and we worked through some things, but I can never repay that, if that makes sense, because once again, the easiest thing this man could have done is said, you know what, let's find another guy. But the measure of the man, the measure of the organisation is by those dark times. Organisations are defined by their darkest times, and that's why this club is in great hands.
Damien, you sort of thought there's some balance in your life that might be a milestone for a potential BJ coming up this weekend, is that right?
Yeah, BJ's playing his 100th, mate, so good luck over there. But it's funny, I did a thing with Nathan Buckley recently, and he spoke about the fact that, after he finished coaching, he got to go to a game with his dad, and then I started to think, I said, I don't think I've actually been with my dad and a young fella to a game, to sit there and watch it, which is a staggering thing considering I'm 50 years of age. So they're the sort of things that I look forward to, and they're the sort of the joys that I can look for. But if I can just give one final piece of, I just want to thank the staff of the Richmond Football Club, not only the ones that are here now, but also the ones that have gone previously. You're an outstanding group of people that I've had the fortune of working with, and I thank you and I love you to death, and I look forward to spending time down the track. To our fans, as I said, I've been to a lot of football clubs and some really, really big ones, but the Tiger Army are just incredible. The way they've embraced me, the way they've embraced this team, and I look forward to making sure we get a big crowd there this week to Port Adelaide to make sure we get our season back on track. And the support that we want to give Minnie as the new coach, so to speak, and there's a bit of a punt going around at the moment, how long it takes before he goes into my seat in my office, but hopefully just let it settle for a while, Minnie, before you jump in it. But I wish you all the very best, mate, and I just want to thank everyone from the bottom of my heart for the journey that I've had. So thanks, guys. Thanks, great man. Good.
So there you have it. After 14 years, it's an end of an era.